Have you ever woken up one morning feeling like you're still yourself, but something has shifted? Not a sharp pain, not a clear sign of illness, just a quiet fatigue, a subtle disconnection, and a sense that your body is slowly pulling away from the life of intimacy you once knew. Many men over 60 come to me with the same hesitant question: am I just getting older, or am I losing something deeper? My name is Dr. James. For over 30 years, I've helped men reclaim their energy, their strength, and yes, their ability to feel close and connected again. And if there's one truth I've learned, it's this: aging is not the enemy. The real enemy is the silent decline. No one talks about how small, unnoticed changes in circulation can quietly erode your vitality, your confidence, and your most important relationships. You see, when blood flow starts to slow down even just slightly, it doesn't only affect your heart or your legs. It chips away at your sense of identity, weakens emotional connection, and leaves you feeling like something essential is fading away. The sad part, most doctors overlook it. They call it normal aging, but that normal is quietly damaging the very things that make life rich and meaningful. The good news: you can do something about it. And you don't need harsh medications or expensive procedures. All it takes is the right understanding and a few natural changes to your routine. One of the most overlooked tools, fresh celery juice. I know it sounds simple, but certain plant compounds in celery have been studied for their ability to support blood flow, relax blood vessels, and naturally enhance circulation even to areas you may have thought were no longer responsive. And if you use it correctly, you may start feeling the difference not just in your body but in your connection with your partner. But before I show you exactly how to use celery for better intimacy and vitality, take a second to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Each week, I share powerful senior health tips to help you restore energy, confidence, and connection naturally and effectively. And if you find this video helpful, drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. If not, type 0 and tell me how I can better serve your journey with future senior health tips tailored to your needs. Because no matter what age you are, I believe your strength and intimacy can be renewed once you're willing to open the first door. 1. Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you felt fully alive, energized in your body, clear in your mind, and deeply connected to the person lying next to you? If you hesitated even for a moment, this video may hold the missing link you've been searching for. You see, we've been taught that aging is simply a process of letting go, of slowing down, of accepting that what once came naturally, like intimacy, vitality, or the spark in your step, must now fade with the calendar pages. But what if I told you that what most men believe to be just aging is actually a warning sign, not of illness, not of weakness, but of something fixable, something preventable? For decades, I've sat across from men who built businesses, raised families, fought through loss and pressure, and yet found themselves quietly shrinking, not just in muscle mass or stamina, but in identity. They say things like, "I don't recognize myself anymore. I'm still here, but it feels like life is happening without me." And I always ask, when did the blood stop flowing freely? Because here's the truth no one talks about. When circulation slows down, particularly in the areas that fuel your confidence, energy, and connection, you don't just lose strength, you lose your sense of self. You lose that fire that says, "I'm still here, and I matter." It's subtle at first. Your hands are colder in the morning. Your legs ache slightly more by evening. And even though you love your partner, something inside you isn't responding the way it once did. So you pull back. Not because you don't care, but because your body feels like it's slipping quietly into the background. And yet, no one brings this up, not at dinner with friends, not in most doctors' offices unless you mention it. And even then, it's too often brushed aside. It's normal, they'll say, but normal is not the same as healthy, and certainly not the same as thriving. What's heartbreaking is how many men accept this silent erosion as their new reality, never realizing that their body is, in fact, asking for help. And the good news: with the right support, your body wants to heal. That's where something as humble as celery juice enters the conversation. Guess celery, that green stalk you've walked past 100 times in the produce aisle. But when used properly, celery juice isn't just refreshing, it's a natural vasodilator. It supports nitric oxide production, helps relax blood vessels, and improves microcirculation in the areas most men over 60 are silently struggling with. This isn't hype, it's biology. Celery juice won't solve everything, but it may help you reclaim more than just blood flow. It could help bring back your energy, your confidence, and that deeply personal connection you thought was fading for good. So if you're still watching and this message resonates, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. And if you've been feeling a quiet decline and want to understand exactly how celery juice can help restore what aging seems to have taken, stay with me, because what comes next may reshape how you think about your body, your health, and yes, even your mornings. 2. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, "Where did I go?" Not in the dramatic sense, not because of a diagnosis, but because, little by little, something essential has gone quiet. The truth is, you don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel disconnected from your body or your desire to engage with life. It's not like flipping a switch. It's like turning down a dimmer one slow notch at a time. You might feel just a bit colder than usual, a bit more tired at 2 p.m., a bit less drawn to the things or people you once felt deeply connected to. At first, you blame stress, age, a poor night's sleep. But beneath all those surface-level excuses, something more serious could be happening. Your circulation is slowing down. Now, most people think of poor circulation as cold fingers or numb toes, but that's only the tip of the iceberg, because blood flow isn't just about warmth or movement. It's about identity. It's the current that fuels every part of you: oxygen for your brain, nutrients for your muscles, hormones for desire and emotional vitality. And when that current slows, you begin to lose more than energy. You start to lose yourself. Your days become heavier, your nights less restful, your attention wanders, your body hesitates, and in the most intimate moments, you begin to feel absent. But instead of speaking up, you stay silent. You wonder, is this just me? Is this what aging feels like? Let me be clear, no, this is not just aging. This is a breakdown in the very system that keeps your mind sharp, your heart open, and your relationships alive. I remember a man named Charles. He was 72, impeccably dressed, the type who always held the door for others. But when he sat down in my office, I saw something had dimmed in him, not in his appearance, but in his presence. He leaned in and said something I'll never forget. "Doctor, I don't feel like a man anymore." His labs looked fine, his heart sounded normal, but the spark, that inner force that gives a man strength, dignity, and warmth, was fading, and not because of disease, because his blood wasn't reaching where it mattered most. That's the hidden cost of poor circulation. It doesn't just steal your energy, it chips away at your sense of self, one layer at a time, until one day you barely recognize the man staring back at you. Worse still, most men don't realize it's happening until they've already withdrawn from their passions, their partners, and even their purpose. But here's the good news. Your body isn't finished. That engine inside you still wants to run. It just needs cleaner fuel and a clearer path. And that's why I keep coming back to something deceptively simple: a glass of fresh celery juice. It may not look like much, but the compounds in celery support nitric oxide production, which helps your blood vessels expand and lets your blood reach the areas that have been quietly falling behind. It's not a miracle cure, but it's a powerful signal to your body that you're not giving up. So why does this unassuming green drink have such an unexpected impact on your circulation and even your intimacy? That's exactly what we're about to explore. And after this, you may never look at that humble stalk of celery the same way again. 3. Is it really possible that something as ordinary as a crunchy green stalk could quietly restore your energy, your clarity, and even your sense of self? Most people walk past celery in the produce aisle without a second thought. It's that forgotten garnish on a veggie tray, the background player in a tuna salad. But what if I told you that inside this humble vegetable lies a natural one that could gently support your circulation, your energy, and even that deep unspoken connection you've been missing? This isn't about trendy juices or some new detox fad. This is about biology, pure and simple. Celery juice, when prepared and consumed the right way, can do something remarkable. Help restore blood flow to the areas of your body that matter most for vitality, confidence, and intimacy. Why? Because celery is naturally rich in nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule essential for dilating blood vessels and enhancing circulation. And when your blood flows more freely, oxygen and nutrients reach the parts of you responsible for memory, physical energy, emotional connection, and yes, intimate function. But here's the beauty. Celery juice doesn't force change. It doesn't stimulate or suppress. It simply supports, gently, predictably, naturally. And that's exactly what your body needs after 60. Not another synthetic shortcut or risky supplement, but a quiet ally that works with your system, not against it. I think of Harold, a retired math teacher, calm, thoughtful, and quietly frustrated. He had tried it all: supplements, medications, even some remedies he was embarrassed to mention. Nothing sticks, he told me, almost in defeat. So I asked him one simple question: have you ever tried celery juice? He blinked. For what? For feeling like yourself again. I said, "We started with a simple morning ritual. Fresh chopped celery soaked overnight in clean water, 1 glass on an empty stomach. That's it." Weeks later, Harold returned with a different look in his eyes. "Doctor," he said, "I don't know what it is, but I feel clearer. I wake up without that morning fog. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm living in my body again, not just dragging it around." This isn't just about a vegetable. It's about reclaiming your relationship with your body, your mind, and the people you care most about. And it all starts with something so small. You might not believe how much it can change until you try, but before you run to the fridge and start slicing celery, there's something important you need to know. Celery juice is only effective when used correctly. Like any tool, it can help or harm depending on how it's handled. Too much of even a good thing can become a burden, especially as we age. So how do you prepare and use celery juice safely, and in a way that truly supports your health without unwanted side effects? That's exactly what we'll uncover next. And trust me, the small detail most people overlook is often the very thing that determines whether this becomes a tool for healing or a missed opportunity. If you're still with me and you found this helpful, type 1 in the comments below so I know you're here. Now, let's move on to point number 5. Unlock the part of this journey most people never hear about. For have you ever caught yourself thinking, if 1 glass is good, wouldn't 2 or 3 be even better? It's a tempting logic, especially when you're chasing a breakthrough in your health. But when it comes to the human body, especially after 60, more doesn't always mean better. In fact, sometimes it means danger. We live in a world where excess is often confused with effectiveness. More supplements, more routines, more drastic approaches. But your body, especially as it ages, asking for more. It's asking for balance. And even something as natural and beneficial as celery juice can cross the line from healing to harmful if you don't approach it with intention. I'll never forget Denise Proud, strong 70-year-old retired contractor who came to me after trying celery juice on his own. He'd read online about its circulation benefits and dove in full force. If 1 cup helps, why not 3 a day, he figured. No moderation, no guidance, just hope and effort. Within a week, Dennis was dizzy, trembling, and eventually hospitalized. What went wrong? Celery, while rich in natural nitrates and antioxidants, also acts as a diuretic, meaning it pulls fluids and electrolytes from the body in moderation. That's fine, but in excess, especially in older adults, it can lead to dehydration, low sodium, and even irregular heart rhythms. And if you're already taking medications for blood pressure, heart disease, or kidney issues, the impact is compounded. Here's what most people don't realize. As we age, our internal systems, hormones, kidneys, electrolytes, nervous function become more sensitive. What your body once tolerated at 35 might now throw everything out of balance at 65 with just a minor nudge. This isn't about fear. It's about respect for your body, for the process, and for nature itself. Natural doesn't mean harmless. Water is natural, but drink too much, too quickly, and it becomes dangerous. Celery juice is no different. Used wisely, it's a gentle ally. Used recklessly, it can tax the very systems you're trying to support. The truth is, most people don't make mistakes because they're reckless. They make them because they're hopeful. They want to feel better. They want to reclaim the clarity, strength, and connection they feel slipping away. But healing doesn't come from guesswork or overdoing. It comes from awareness, from tuning in, from experience, something we've all earned with every passing year. So before you begin this journey, before you pour that first glass, pause, take a breath, and make sure you're doing this the right way. Because when celery juice is used properly with the right amount, at the right time, in the right rhythm, the results can be quietly transformative. So what is the right way? How much is safe? When should you drink it? And what small tweaks make a big difference? That's exactly what we'll uncover next. And once you understand the details most people overlook, it may just change how you start your day and how you feel in your skin. If you're still here and finding value in this journey, let me know by typing 1 in the comments. Now, let's move into point number 6 and unlock the safe, sustainable method that could help you feel like yourself again. 5. Here's a question worth asking, especially after 60. Are you doing things with purpose or just out of habit? Because by this stage in life, most men have learned a critical truth. Results don't come from doing more. They come from doing what matters with intention. And when it comes to supporting your circulation, energy, and even intimacy, celery juice may look simple on the surface, but how you use it matters just as much as what you're using. This isn't a magic potion, but it's also not just a green drink. It's a tool, and like any tool, it needs to be used with wisdom. Let's start where most people get it wrong, with quantity and complexity. You don't need blenders, powders, or complicated protocols. In fact, the safest and most effective method I recommend, especially for men over 60, is beautifully simple. Here's the approach I trust with my own patients. Take 1 to 2 stalks of fresh, organic celery, chop it gently, soak it in a cup of filtered water overnight. In the morning, strain the water and drink it on an empty stomach. That's it. No juices, no additives, just whole, living nutrition infused slowly into clean water, absorbed at a time when your body is most ready to receive it. Why first thing in the morning? Because before food, before medications, and before distractions, your system is most responsive. The natural nitrates in celery help your body produce nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels and promotes healthy circulation throughout the day. Think of it like warming up the engine before a long drive. It sets the tone for everything that follows. But one critical factor often gets overlooked: hydration. Celery juice works best in a well-hydrated system. Sip water consistently throughout the day, not just when you're thirsty. When your blood is well hydrated, it flows more efficiently, delivers oxygen more effectively, and yes, even improves clarity, mood, and physical responsiveness during your most important moments. I think of Ray, a 74-year-old retired craftsman who once told me, "I didn't realize how numb I'd become until I started feeling alive again." All he did was follow this exact routine for 3 weeks. And the shift he experienced wasn't dramatic. It was steady, lasting, and deeply personal. But I need to say this: if you're taking medications, especially for blood pressure, kidney health, or heart rhythm, talk to your doctor first. This isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. Your body isn't an experiment. It's a legacy built over decades of experience, love, and resilience. And it deserves to be cared for with knowledge, not guesswork. So now that you know how to use celery water safely and effectively, what if I told you there's still one more layer? A simple mindset shift that can turn this tiny daily ritual into something far more powerful than a health habit. In the final part of this journey, I'll share the story of a man who discovered that exact shift and how it helped him reclaim a piece of life he thought was lost for good. If you're still watching and this has helped you, type 1 in the comments so I know you're with me. Now, let's move on to point number 7, the part where healing becomes personal. And so, as we close this journey, I want you to remember something simple yet powerful. True healing doesn't roar. It whispers. That the transformation doesn't always look like a breakthrough. It often looks like a steady hand, a clearer thought, a warmer morning. It looks like waking up and recognizing yourself again, not a younger version of you, but a truer one. One that's no longer hiding behind fatigue, fog, or quiet disconnection. What we've explored together isn't just about celery. It's about what it represents. It's about showing up for your own body, gently, intentionally, and with trust. From the first glass of infused water, to the daily decision to hydrate, to breathe, to listen, your body begins to remember that it's still capable, that it's still yours. Let's briefly recall the key takeaways. Poor circulation can quietly steal more than energy. It can dull your sense of self. When used wisely, celery water may support blood flow, clarity, and even emotional presence. Healing is not about extremes, but about consistency done with respect, rhythm, and attention. The smallest rituals, when done with care, can anchor you back into your life. So here's my invitation to you. If this message spoke to you even in a quiet way, don't keep it to yourself. Leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. What part of this resonated? What are you ready to reclaim? And if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do so. Not because you have to, but because I believe your health deserves regular support. Tap the like button if this helped. And if you want more content like this, go ahead and ring the bell. You'll be the first to know when something new arrives, because this is just the beginning. The decision to turn toward your body with compassion instead of frustration is one of the most life-changing choices you'll ever make. So start small. Start today. And let each day say one quiet thing to your body. I haven't given up on you. And in time, you may be amazed at how your body starts to say the same thing back.